Let's check out Platin after the remake in Arena.
7K dreamer please.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We'll be looking at Platin today. After his remake, I'll be showing you guys two teams. So this is the first team with Sizar and Noa. So same thing, I will explain everything you need to know about Platin, from skills to builds to possible team combinations and strategies. Upon entering the field, Platin actually has a 20,000 HP shield, and this 20,000 HP shield is actually not a lot, okay, to be honest. Can you imagine before the remake, he only had a 6,000 HP shield? I mean, what is 6,000 even in the context of Arena right now, where you have tens of thousands of damage? So 20,000 HP shield, it sounds like it's a good amount, but it's not too much because it can be gone in one hit. He also survives on 1 HP, which is very crucial, so that he has a chance to counter back, but I'll talk about that later, about the whole idea behind him. So over here, he's using his acting judge. It actually electrifies enemies. As you saw, 2 of the enemies have been electrified successfully. There's 50% chance for this to happen, and it also decreases all the awakening gauges by half of those enemies that are affected. His awaken skill is pretty strong, however, because of my gear, I don't think it does as much damage as it intends to. It is more damage oriented and it reduces buff duration by 1 turn. So you will realize that he doesn't use his bottom skill, which is the most important one, and you want him to use that. That is the skill that converts the enemy's HP to 1, and I mean, that is of course the most important one, right? That's why you are using him in the first place. And he's finally using it now, so let's see who it actually lands on. He causes the opponent's Orkah to be converted to 1 HP, and I think that's pretty good because it effectively removes their counter unit. And over here, Noa comes in with her skill. I think the Platin and Noa combination is actually very brilliant. So this was a very perfect situation where the Platin reduced to 1 HP and Noa came in with 2 fixed damage attacks due to a chain attack being triggered. So that is one of the strategies that I did not think of, and it just happened that way. Unfortunately, the enemy's Evan is super strong and killed off 3 of my heroes. So yep, that's that. I basically lost this match, but I got to see something new from Platin and Noa from this match. So I hope that kind of showed you some little tricks that you could try. But back to the main point about Platin's utility. If you unlock his exclusive item, he actually reduces enemies' lethal rate by 30%. So from here on, I want you guys to observe the enemy's damage. Do they actually have a very high lethal rate? Do they actually proc lethal rate as much? Okay, because reducing enemies' lethal rate by 30% can be a pretty good amount. Opponents' Rins and Skulds usually have about 60% of lethal rate, so reducing that by another 30% can basically protect your entire team from being hit by very strong damage. And interestingly here, this opponent uses a Shane. Honestly, it's been a while since I've seen Shane in Arena, so it was pretty refreshing. And my Sizar actually has taunt here, so she kept targeting my Sizar. In this match, I'm going to talk about my Platin's build because this match he basically didn't do anything, so it's good to divert your attention to the little box at the side. I gave him double crit because this actually increases his debuff cast rate, so he can land the electrify better if he even uses the skill. For his armor, I've given him double HP so that he heals over time. You can also opt for block if you like to try him out. He is a universal hero now, so he definitely has more bulk on him. For his jewels, I've given him block rate, crit rate, and increased awakening gauge. So his awakening gauge is already reduced by his exclusive item, so giving him that jewel actually makes him charge it super fast. So I think within 1 skill, he can already fill up his awakening gauge very quickly. The block here is to give him just additional bulk, even though I don't have block armor, so that can be something that could be looked into, whether you can have block jewels and block armor together. Crit rate is really to push his damage output a little more, and honestly that's the issue I have about him. Okay, I'm not sure what is best for him. He is neither a damager, he is not a complete tank, and he is not by any means a support hero, unlike other heroes out there. So I'm a bit stuck. I wasn't really sure what role he fits in, and you can see that he does have some good bulk to be able to survive throughout the whole match all the way to the end, right? Here he casts his 1 HP skill on the Sizar, which is very good. However, I would like you guys to take note of what happens next. So my Rin decides to attack the Sizar, and usually I might be thinking, okay, Sizar is dead, but nope, it actually procced and he healed again. So that was a bit unfortunate. I guess it just helped to proc Sizar's Willful Ring much earlier, and that's basically its function. And I'm gonna have to wait an eternity before that skill cooldown again and I can use it again. Chances are you can only use that skill once per arena match, which is also another issue. I have done a few matches and sometimes Platin doesn't even use that bottom skill. So his case is very situational. And you are definitely not going to see him in higher tier arena because of this. Because if he uses his skill, he can potentially change your entire tide of the match. If he doesn't, then he's really just there for a passive lethal rate decrease. And I don't think that is the wisest choice you have, because you have other heroes who can definitely do much more in his position. Over here, he successfully lands the Electrify on Noa and Evan, decreases their awakening gauge, which is okay, but to what extent is this gonna be very helpful? Sometimes it can backfire on you, whereby the enemy's stronger heroes will come in, those that are not electrified, with their skills and wreck your team. So it really depends. He is a very situational hero. And I think for that reason, he is best used in cases where you can manually control. But then again, in PvE, chances are you cannot reduce the enemy's HP to 1, so he can't really be used in PvE. So this skill, again, even though it is buffed, in the past it was 50% chance to reduce to 1 HP and now it is 100%. Unfortunately, there are cases where even with increased skill use, as you saw that I've given him, he doesn't really use that skill. And that will definitely affect your match, because he is gonna be a kind of like a dead unit. So I think I'm pretty fortunate here to be able to take this round, thanks to my Noah's evasion. Otherwise I would definitely have died. So moving on to this other team setup, which is Skuld and Orkah. So this time Platin is the defense leader. Let's see how that goes. The reason why I'm still having a Pentagon member is because I want to avoid all the insane quizzes that I face. So I have Orkah here. In the previous one I had Sizar. So in this case, unfortunately, my Platin is struck by enemies Zahara and there's an applied skill cooldown. So I think he probably won't do much already. So continuing about his build, I'm going to talk about his accessory. I've given him the Willful Ring and the Gallidus Tenacity. I don't have an extra Gallidus Velocity, which is the height accessory for him, so I've decided to give him decreased fixed damage. And I haven't been seeing a lot of Noahs, honestly, so that substat is kind of useless in that case. But the Willful Ring is definitely a must-have for him. Over here, he uses his top skill, electrifies the Rin just in time. So I think this was a pretty critical moment where Platin actually came to life. Managed to do somewhat a little bit of damage using his awakened skill. I really don't know why, because the multiplier on him is actually pretty high, 300% damage. But maybe because, you know, he is a universal hero now, so his attack stat is slightly lower than the rest, and so his damage output is no longer as high as a magic hero which he used to be. Yep, so I think I was pretty lucky here as well, thanks to Platin's Electrify. So back to his traits, I've given him increased skill use chance, reduced damage from magic and offensive. You could also give him block rate instead, so that he has slightly more bulk. And you see that actually he has been surviving for quite a few matches very well. He is more defensive by nature, okay, though his awakened skill is pretty strong. Over here, he's starting off the match again with the Electrify. Unfortunately, it only affects one enemy and Evan cleanses it up here, so there was no difference made. For his synergy with other heroes, I personally think that his passive is very useful in any team composition arena. Potentially good with Noah as you saw in the first match. However, again, like I said, I'm not too sure what his actual role is here. So not only is he not a mythical awakened hero, which means he has slightly lower stats than all the other heroes on the team, even though he has better survivability somehow. He is not a very strong attacker, he is not a very strong defender, he doesn't really give your team any buffs or debuffs. The lethal rate drop can be useful against certain enemies, and that's about it. So using him can be a little tricky because his skill use is also very situational. Chances are he may get his awakened skill up very easily for you, and in that case he can reduce one turn of buff duration. But currently in arena where you have a meta where buffs are less used, which means the enemies don't really cast buffs on themselves, buff duration reduction, it seems a little pointless. So it really is more effective for the Guardian Ring. And here he casts his 1 HP conversion skill on Evan, which is great because Evan is super annoying. So this is the one moment where Platin really scored it. And over here he uses his top skill. Remember, this reduces awakening gauges by half. And you saw that Battery actually had her awakened skill ready, so she was ready to eliminate either my Zahara or my Rin. And thankfully, at this point, not only did Platin electrify her but also reduce her gauge, and she died without using her awakened skill. Unfortunately, the enemy Zahara just basically slayed my Rin and Platin, so I'm pretty much dead at this point. It seemed like a good match. This is the final match of the video. We do see an Ace on the enemy side of the field, which is great. I love Ace right now. He is a really good hero. Unfortunately, to test out this video, I have to take him out. So he increases the cooldown on Platin, which means we are not going to see his skill anytime soon. So I'm not sure if you guys have actually tested Platin yourself. If you did, do leave in the comments what you think of him. Personally, I think he is an okay hero. Definitely needed a remake, but to be used currently in the meta, I don't think he is very suitable because of how conditional he is. And also because there are other more useful heroes out there. Yeah, and that's basically what I feel about him. So over here, let's observe the lethal. No lethal from enemy Rin. Okay, that's very good, because if she applied the lethal, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get slayed. Again from Rin, let's see if there's a lethal. No lethal as well. These two Rins are really just fighting with each other. How about enemy Skuld? There is lethal procced on my Skuld herself. My Platin blocks the entire damage, which is cool. So in this match, well, I think my Platin didn't really do too much except stand there, apply his passive. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of cases of this because Rin and Zahara are very active. And yeah, basically that's all I have for the Platin video. Do let me know what you think of him. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for more guys. Thank you so much and see you.